Hello, my name is Jarrah Shaw, and I'm an MPH student at Liberty University. This past summer, I did an internship with Watts of Love responding to life without electricity. There are nearly 1 billion people without access to electricity, even in today's society. And with this lack of opportunity, these communities are trapped in a cycle of extreme poverty. Watts of Love is a nonprofit organization based out of Downers Grove, Illinois. They're committed to providing light to these unreached communities. What I did this past summer is actually just a pre-assessment to a much bigger study that will continue on next year. The focus was to utilize the questionnaire within communities that had not yet received light to provide evidence of change in quality of life compared to the post-assessment. From a nutritionist view, limited energy sources lead to families cooking with kerosene, which creates household air pollutants and major health issues. In order to conduct this study, there was a lot of prep work involved because I actually spent 2 weeks of my summer in the Philippines. So there was a lot of travel arrangements, grant writing, and IRB processing for human involvement. Once we got to the Philippines, the data collection included 3 rural communities in the region of Mindoro. And these interviews were with translators to make sure that the language barrier was not an issue for our data collection. The survey questions included their primary source of light, any burns or falls related to light sources, and how many people live in the households. The following week was actually a light distribution with the Watts of Love team. So each household got a solar light to be used for free, and then education was given on its use and its impact. The follow-up was meetings with families that had previously received lights in order to test out the post-assessment questionnaires to make sure that we had worded them correctly and they were as beneficial as possible. To the right is a picture of the solar light that Watts of Love currently hands out, and there's been a lot of different models, but this is the most accurate one and the most up-to-date one. They're always working on improvements, but so far this is the one that's worked the best. For the results, we talked to a total of 72 households, which included 339 individuals. Figure 1, it gives a list and a bar graph of the activities of productivity. So these are the answers we received from asking people what they did with a source of light after dark. So after dinner, when there is no sunlight, what are they trying to do with their other form of light? So the most common one is cooking, so dinner, which includes like the cleanup and cooking the meal, and then also cleaning and studying were next. Figure 2 shows the currently used light sources, so most commonly is the battery-operated flashlights, and then kerosene. For health, we focused a lot on reducing the amount of kerosene used, but also for financially, buying the batteries also cost a lot more than you would expect. And then other things such as wood sap, solar lights from other organizations, not Watts of Love, wood and grass. So these households spent between 0 and 75 Filipino pesos per week on light sources. And it also shows between 0 and 30 trips or falls happened after dark. And 18 households reported someone in the home had been burned by a light source, and 2 households even had their entire homes burned down from a light source, most likely kerosene. So the hands-on experience that I received in the Philippines gave perspective and knowledge that doesn't always translate into analytical writing. I have so much to say for cultural awareness that happens when you're actually overseas with a global-minded organization. By giving light to the poorest communities in the world, Watts of Love understands how much these individuals can gain from more hours in the working day. By changing how long they can study or work on their trade at night, they can improve their quality of life. And having this free light source allows for saving money, a concept that many of these people in survival mode don't have the ability to practice. Instead, the money can be used to buy farm animals as investments. For example, purchasing a chicken can provide eggs and meat, both of which can be sold or consumed. But this is a concept that we had to extremely teach on in our education portion because all they wanted to do with the extra money was to buy rice or directly consumable products without comprehending the term of investment. By replacing the kerosene usage with solar energy, you can improve the physical health of these families as well. One study found that households that use kerosene had a higher rate of respiratory issues in comparison to every other type of fuel. Providing a family with a sustainable light source is not only a temporary benefit, but is a continual advantage to their quality of life. The post-assessment trip will be happening next year, so it will be interesting to see the results in comparison to the current data. Watts of Love hopes to use this data to provide statistical evidence for their efforts. This information will also be used in their grant writings in partnerships with other organizations in order to provide the lights for free. Overall, health education should be employed to encourage safe cooking practices and modification of cooking methods by women in these communities. One of the studies I found showed that women have the same damage in their lungs as smoking 2 packs of cigarettes per day. The future holds a lot of potential for more research on the impact of solar lights in impoverished communities, and continual evidence will add vital information to the conversation of life without electricity. To end, here's a list of references from the studies I used to create this PowerPoint.